Good homecoming win, this Saturday. Really, you just want to start off. I know I said it in the post-game press conference, but really appreciate the energy, the crowd. There Saturday night. Thought crowd was outstanding. I thought our players. I was asked about it afterwards, but I mean just the excitement, the energy that was being brought from our sideline, just the way that guys were encouraging and uplifting each other throughout the course of the contest, I thought was something that was absolutely felt and appreciated. I thought the guys just had a lot of fun, and not every play went exactly how we wanted, but they answered the call throughout, and going back and watching the film, plenty of little things to be able to clean up on and you continue to grow from. But I thought our team was dominant in their performance, and really played a pretty complete game, but with opportunity for growth. And just proud of the work that the guys have put in. I know I mentioned last week in media times of availability, just talking about what practice was looking like, and it really. That carried over, and you want that to show up every week. You want that to be the standard and expectation. But there's so many different dynamics that show up in a game that whatever sometimes holds guys back. We had to get through. We had to be able to have that that transition and to show up, and we've seen it happen multiple times this year in games we played, and then there's times that we haven't been able to execute that. But I thought our guys did a great job. I'm really proud of them, and obviously we got a big road contest this week, and a place that obviously a big game for this program. It's one that anytime that these two programs go against each other, I mean it's going to be fast. It's going to be violent. It's going to be very competitive, and you go in on the road, prime time. 7:30 kick. It's going to be a very hostile atmosphere for us, and one that we've got to be able to manage all things that we can control and go out there and play Florida State football. But it's a talented team that we're playing. I know they've had they've had some tough outcomes, some close games, but you turn on the film and you see a team that's absolutely capable, and one that we just got to continue to play better on our end, and I've got a lot of high expectations for the way our guys are going to answer the call, and to be able to go and fight to get our first road win, and that's something that's important for us, and something that we've got to go out there and get done.
All right, first question will be Corey.
What went into the decision?
We have a microphone.
Oh, yeah, we have these.
Man, wow. Whoa.
What went into the decision to start Sam after really kind of not? I think you had one carry in that FBS game the whole year. What was that decision? What does he give you maybe that you weren't getting at that position?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just as I mentioned after the game, you see his growth through practice, through just the confidence of him as a runner, of what he's being asked to do. Some of the finer details of what we ask our backs to do, when it's tracks, trust, reactions. And obviously Sam he's still young in his career, but he's absolutely ascending, and he's done some good things in games up to this point, but also we felt like he would provide us a great spark, and we wanted to give him the opportunity that he's earned, and I think you see that position is one that we've got some talented players, some guys that have had some success and a good amount of success this year, and I think Sam took advantage of his opportunity, and really proud of him. He's somebody that shows up every single day with the right mindset, with the right approach, and he's trusting his process, and he really. He knows there's still a lot of areas where he can continue to get better, but he was ready for that moment, and I was just really proud of him.
All right, stay there for Ira.
Any theories on why you guys haven't been able to play as well on the road this season, and is there anything you can adjust, or is it a matter of just keep doing what you're doing?
No, I mean, you always, look to adjust, and you hope for the results to translate, whether you're at home, whether you're on the road. I mean, we've had our moments, obviously this year, there was times in the Virginia game that we played at a high level. There was times that we didn't, and obviously didn't get the outcome that we wanted. The trip to Stanford was, there's like I said, after that game, that was one that that's for whatever factors that it was that showed up. I mean, we just we did not go and execute. We did not go and play or coach to the ability that I know that we have. And you sit there, and there's been times at home that we didn't play well, and we needed to get that fixed. And I thought that you saw a football team in this last game that was able to we determined what it was going to be. And we didn't control a lot of the things on the outside, and really didn't matter. I mean, it was just about what we were willing to go and put into that game, how we were willing to, the energy we were willing to bring, the detail, the execution, and our guys went out and got the job done. So it's really got to be the same mindset. We're not going to be in control of anything that's going to show up at Clemson. I mean, it's the drive's going to be the drive to the stadium, the atmosphere, the crowd, the noise, all parts of that dynamic. But that we've got to go. We're the ones that get to go play and coach in this game, and so you prepare your mind for that. You learn the lessons from previous experiences, and there are absolutely some dynamics and some things that we've addressed in our preparation that allowed us to play really well here at home on this last game. And I believe that regardless where you play, there's some things that we know you have to show up, and we've got to take that on the road here this week. And I am expecting to see our best game as we get into Saturday night.
Come over to your left for Liam.
Coach, you've mentioned the word fun. We've heard players talk about the last few weeks have been the most fun that they've had. What changed? What was it that kind of let these guys cut loose, especially after the month you guys had?
I mean, it sucks losing, and but you still make the choice to go and compete. And the thing that I know about this team is they really enjoy the element of competition. They enjoy who they do it with, and sometimes you get caught up with other factors, and it's sometimes the fear of failure. The fear of judgment, those things are real. And if you get caught up, planning games, trying not to mess up or not to lose, or the worry of what is how something can proceed if it doesn't go the right way. And I said that, in all reality, sometimes you say the hell of a scoreboard like that. Focus on this play. Have fun on this play, this one moment. Whatever the scoreboard says, whether you're up 35 or whether you're down 10, whatever that says, go focus on this moment. And you look at practice, and that's what I that's what I wanted to see in practice, and that's why I felt very confident through the bye week. We got good on good work. It was offense versus defense. Let's see the speed, let's see the competition, let's see who's gonna win and lose on this play, because that's what happens in practice. And every play in practice, somebody wins and somebody loses. You don't have the crowd, you don't have the scoreboard, you don't have all the other elements that are showing up, but you're still going to have the same results. That's going to be a win or a loss on that play. But even seeing just the way that they were responding through that, and even good play, bad play. I mean, there was the element of competition, and guys picking each other up, challenging each other, encouraging that response throughout the week, and that's what we had to carry to game day. And like I said, that's where, kind of back to Ira's question, it doesn't really matter if it's home or away. Like, we've got to bring that, and if that shows up, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're cheering, it doesn't matter if they're booing, it doesn't matter what the atmosphere is. I mean, it's about us, and and that's the joy of competition, the joy of going out there and putting everything that you have on the field, and getting to do it with people that you care about. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
All right, Brendan.
Every player that we talked to after the game on Saturday, they were really vocal in their support of you, and I don't know if that, I know you're secure with where these guys are and how they stand with you and vice versa, but to hear it publicly and to see them, I mean, just actually go out and play and have fun like Liam asked, what did that mean to all kind of culminate?
Well, I mean, I show up every day to try to pour into players to go be their best. That is my driving force in life, is to help, those people that I'm around to be able to impact that, and just make it better. And, whether it's somebody working in a different department within the program, whether it's the extra point club ladies that are at the front desk. I mean, I want this to be a place that, man, we uplift each other, that we encourage each other, whether it's, it's a player that's a freshman that's working on a scout team, or, it's Tommy as our starting quarterback. And so when you show up every day, you're trying to pour in, and then you see the growth, you see the steps, you see the smile, you see the excitement, you see the celebrations. I mean, that means everything to me. And, I'm grateful for our players, and, they have a wonderful platform to express themselves and to say what they feel. I say I don't need that. They show it to me. I mean, I don't need a player to tell that they care about me. I look at how we interact, how we work together, and I'm absolutely grateful for the opportunity I have to coach them. I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to represent this program. I'm going to pour everything I have into it on a daily basis because they deserve it. This program deserves it. All that have come before us, they deserve that. And if we're not willing to do that together, then that's where the problem would lie. But I mean, there's a lot of respect, a lot of gratitude. I think our players are grateful for the coaches that they get to work with. They're grateful for the players they get to play with as well. But and I 100% know that our coaches are grateful for each and every young man that we have within this program, and the opportunity to help them go take steps to all that they can be.
All right, we'll go second row for Peter.
Coach, Tony White said yesterday that the defense played calmly. Do you feel that same kind of impression of them performing? You feel like you're going to see more of that?
Yeah, I mean, I felt that they were, they played in control, calm control. There was a confidence in all things that they were doing. I thought Tony did a great job, having balance in, the times that we pressured, the times that we played base, the times that we showed different looks. Our guys, they were in control of the things that we were of asking them to do, but also even on some of the bad plays, like in every defense you don't get to take away everything. You have to understand where are some of the vulnerabilities, and if somebody hits you in one of those vulnerable areas, regardless of the defensive call, right, you go make the tackle and you play the next play. And I think we saw that really well throughout and you talk complementary football, offense, defense. That also is complementary football within a side of ball. Like there's gonna be times where somebody does put together some plays, and those guys they're on scholarship too, and those coaches are good coaches, and as long as you're forcing them to attack the areas which might be a little bit of a weakness, and you're making the tackle, you're getting them down, you're playing the next play. You get an opportunity to create a takeaway on the next one. You got an opportunity to be able to make the play on the next one. And so I thought our guys played confident in that. And you get to build upon that. And so, I think at times, and we absolutely have seen this defensively this year, there's times where guys are trying to take away everything. And, they think that, I know I'm playing this leverage, but I can't let them beat me there. And then all of a sudden you take an early step, early transition, and it opens up, to where some of the big mistakes have shown up. And, I think, as Tony, our defensive staff, I mean, they're continuing to pour into these guys. They're, like I said, that confidence is growing in all things that they're being asked to do. And then you just got to go out there and have fun playing the game. But, I thought everybody on the defensive side, coaches and players, really did a nice job. And, like I said, there's still a lot of areas to grow and get better at that. But, that calm confidence, it definitely showed up.
All right, we'll go over to Matt on your right.
Tony White yesterday said that the message last week was believe in yourself, the university, the coaches, all that. Do you think the emphasis on that really helped them play more confident? I know it's not a new message for you, but do you think that helped emphasizing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the word believe is great. But it's you trust your training. You trust you trust all things of who you are, what you do, who you get to do it with. You trust the process of it. I mean, nobody likes going through a losing streak. You know, I mean, I hate it. I mean, it's sickening to me that whenever you find those moments where you're trying so hard and you're a play here, a play there, and some of the disappointments. But you know, there's times where even through a disappointing result, you cannot be blinded by the process of growth of capability. And you know, that's where, you know, I've seen our team, you know, and really, like I said, I thought I was really proud of them for what it showed up in practice, where you felt them almost take a deep breath and get back to just competing and having fun and going and you know, growing through you know, some disappointing outcomes. Well, because it allows you to go out there and take maybe a little bit bigger step on that next one. And so, you know, it is the belief in the process and the work that you're doing, you know, obviously the ability that you have, and then who you get to do it with. And, you know, that's, I thought our guys, say embraced, but, you know, just applied that concept. And, you know, it's not something new. It's not something that, you know, revolutionary, but, you know, sometimes we get so caught up in the short-term result. And you know, this is a capable football team. This is a team that has high potential, and we're capable on both ends of it. We showed that. You know, and even in times when we played bad, you know, we still put ourselves in a position, you know, to have a chance to win every game that we've been in this year. We haven't done that, you know, at a good enough level, and you know, our record is what our record, you know, is, and we've earned that. But what you do with it and where you go from it, we are in control of that. And you know, I believe in the capabilities. I believe in the talent. You know, I believe in the future of all that we have, and if we can just apply all of that today and grow and get better, you know, I've got a lot of confidence in how we'll perform.
Corey?
Very succinctly, who is the backup quarterback? With Kevin playing at the Stanford game and then Brock getting the reps?
I mean, I think we've got a couple guys that are very capable. You know, obviously, you know, Brock went in there in the last game. You know, we get a chance to look at all the different dynamics when it comes to you know, game situation. You know, how we want to utilize those guys, and you know, I felt very confident in both those guys if they have to go, and you know, if either of them have to play. But you know, right now, you know, Kevin's played in I think it's 3 games that he's had opportunity of, and you know, as game situations, you know, present themselves, we're gonna evaluate all things of you know, where we want to go, what we want to do. But you know, I've got a lot of confidence in both those guys and what they can do.
Does the redshirt rule, is it still applying this for now, or you played more than 4 games?
It's 4 games, 4 regular season you know, games.
All right.
Yesterday, Coach Malzahn couldn't talk to us. I think he has family medical issues. Is that going to affect him at all preparation-wise this week?
No, I mean, it's you know, obviously, you know, our thoughts were with, you know, him and the situation within his family, but you know, he's I mean, it should not affect overall. I mean, he'll be ready to go for practice in the morning, and you know, just you know, obviously working through that situation, and you know, but he's all things preparation wise, I feel confident what that'll be.
Corey?
How do you, I don't know, like, I don't even know how to phrase this question. This team is much better, I think, than last year's team. I don't think there's any debate about it, but the record is the record, like you said. The losses did stack up there. Like, the growth that you've seen from last year to this year, how do you, I guess, explain that, and how do you quantify it when the record still isn't what you want or anybody around here wants?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's you know, obviously you want to win every single game, and that is the expectation. That is what you work for. That's what you pour everything in to go do. And you know, we've had, you know, 4 games where we haven't played good enough to achieve, you know, victory in those 4 games. And there's a lot of factors, a lot of different reasons, you know, that, you know, why that showed up. You know, I do believe this has improved. I think it's a talented football team. I do think that you know, both sides of the ball are very capable to play at an elite level, and you know, I think we've shown to be able to play with some of the best and beat the best, you know, some of the best in college football this year, and we've also shown the capability of you know, of the other, and you know, that's where you know, the thing that I do, that I'm grateful for when it comes to this team, is regardless of the games. I mean, you know, you've watched them continue to fight. You've watched them continue to push, try to overcome whatever situation they found themselves in, and we've got to make sure that we're consistent enough and that we're that we respond well enough throughout the course of the game of whatever circumstance we find ourselves in to overcome, to make that one more play or to get that one more stop, to be able to do what's necessary to win it. And that's what made has made the last month extremely difficult, because it's not just one pinpoint issue. And we had a stretch there where turned the ball over too much, and had some challenging games, challenging outcomes. We had a couple of games where just we're not as disciplined as what we needed to be. We had a couple of games where we had some challenging matchups from just what we were facing, and still had opportunities to win it. And then so all of it combines. But I mean, I do believe we're a much better football team than what we were a year ago. But I also believe that we're definitely capable to play at a very high level, and I think we've shown that. And obviously we got to do everything in our power to prepare to go do it again here Saturday.
We got time for a couple more. We'll go to Ryan back left.
Clemson's a team that's obviously had some ups and downs this season, but when they are firing on all cylinders, what are you seeing on the film that's allowed them to have success?
Yeah, I mean, it's a talented team. I mean, there's no question about it. It's a team that returned, I think it was 80% of production, from a year ago. That I mean, it was an ACC champion last year, and so this is a team that has all capabilities. You've seen your times offensively. This last game, I mean, played at a very high level. Was able to. And they've done that. You could really see them kind of coming in their own offensively, playing with a lot of confidence. Defensively, kind of uncharacteristic. In a few of these matchups where just giving up some big plays, and really have had to work through different dynamics. I've got a lot of respect for coaches that they have. I mean, you see it in the schemes, you see it in the abilities of the players, and so. I also know that college football is hard right now, and it doesn't matter if you've got a roster full of guys that have been there or returned, or it's a group of some newcomers. I mean, it's hard across the country, in the consistency of it, and whenever bad things happen or disappointing things happen, you're working through it all. But I know Coach Swaney, he's done. You look throughout the course of his career and what he's done there. He's going to have them ready to play come Saturday night, and we're going to get their absolute best shot, and they're going to get ours, because you got two programs. I mean, it's the last two ACC champions that are in this game, and ultimately we got to go play at a high level, and this is going to be a lot of energy, a lot of excitement for the opportunity to compete, and it's going to be a lot of talented individuals on that field.
All right, last one. We'll go back to Ira.
When we talked to Coach White yesterday, he said the defense obviously played well, but wasn't clean. It wasn't a very clean game, and obviously Wake missed some plays. But was there improvement? Like, how close are you seeing the defense getting to?
I mean, I definitely think there was improvement. There was, in all reality, I mean, it would have been a shutout, throughout the, but there was still some opportunities that were out there that we need to be better at. There were, we've got to be, I would say, cleaner, and just some of our spacing sometimes in a few of our matchups and things of how we pass off. Had a couple of issues up front where there was opportunity, and when I say up front, not necessarily always talking about D-line, linebacker, but it all kind of plays together, where quarterback got out and was able to scramble and extend a couple plays, and so there's just some areas where we can be cleaner, and just make sure that we have all 11 operating as one. Make sure that our spacing and leverages, alignments are right, and if we do that, I feel like it'll continue to help us ascend, and that's where I do have excitement for this week and what we have in practice, because you come off of a good win against like I said, Wake was a good opponent, but there's a lot of area for growth for us, and I think our guys see that, they understand that, and just got to go get better.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.